You want to know what I just did in the break?
No.
Okay.
Of course I want to know what you did in the break.
I had my palms read. I went to the bathroom, and there's a guy sitting.
There's a person reading palms in the bathroom?
This is wild. I walked to the bathroom. There's a man in a wheelchair.
Was he also handing out sticks of gum and napkins?
No. Oh. I was walked past a guy in a wheelchair. And then by the time I came out of the bathroom, the guy in the wheelchair and another guy had a girl's hands. And I go, what are you guys doing? And she goes, I'm getting my palms read. And I was like, oh, can I go next? And they were like, yeah. And he like took both my hands. You know, he's like sitting there, and they take a couple minutes just to feel your energy, right? And he's like, dude, he made me cry. He nailed it so hard.
But the fact that you get mad at a magician for lying to you.
But he's not. To explain, ready for what I'm about to tell you? Explain to me. If he's not psychic, explain to me how he knew these things. So he takes my hands and he's reading them and he's like, you have really good energy. You know, the basic stuff. You have really good energy.
That's not true.
You are hardworking. He was like, I don't know what you do here, but it's not your main priority. He's like, I see your time here coming to an end soon. I don't know if like basically saying, I don't know what it is, but you're not going to work here much longer.
Can you imagine if that was her full-time job and he's like, yeah, this isn't a priority for you and you're not going to be here much longer.
Okay, so that's my point, though. That is a wild guess to take in an office setting. So to tell someone who this could be, he doesn't know who I am. I could be the CFO of marketing. He has no idea what I do here. So for him to say, this is not your priority job and your time here is coming to an end. So then he goes, I'm seeing a number 4. He goes, are you the 4th child? And I said, I am actually. He goes, 4th of 5. And I was like, yes. So now, not only has he told me I'm not going to be this job much longer and it's not my main priority, he called out that I'm the 4th of 5 children. And then, this is the part that made me cry. He goes, I'm getting really, really strong Scorpio vibes, which is Scorpio season, whatever, right now. He goes, it's your dad. Which my dad's birthday was yesterday.
Yep.
He goes, something with your dad's lungs. And I started to tear up. And he looked at me and he goes, is everything okay? I said, yeah, just keep going. And he goes, it's something with your dad's lungs. And my dad freaking died from COVID, dude. My dad was put on a ventilator. My dad couldn't breathe. And so I started to tear up. And he's like, it's something with your dad's lungs. He goes, I don't know if he's currently sick. I don't know if maybe you guys just stopped talking. He goes, but there was definitely a rift there. And he goes, and he wanted to say more to you and your siblings. He's like, I don't know if he's still with us or not, or maybe you guys just don't talk anymore. He's like, but there's a lot of things he wanted to say that he hasn't said yet. And I just started bawling because I was like, how the hell could this guy possibly know? What did I say yesterday? Yesterday on this show, I was saying all that deep stuff about my dad, and I was like, I feel like I might finally be ready to forgive my dad. And then this guy comes in and says all that stuff? Come on, man. You guys explain it away.
I can't. Explain that away. You had a very profound experience. Yeah. I can't tell you that guy's not psychic. I don't believe in that stuff.
So then how can you explain this interaction?
I didn't say that I could. The guy told you a lot of things. The guy told you a lot of bullseye stuff. I don't believe in that stuff, but I'm not telling you that you clearly had an experience with this person.
That's for him to. I have no idea. If I would have not gone to the bathroom in that break, he wouldn't have been here the next break when I went out. You can't guess that many specific things in a row correctly. You can't.
And yet I believe that somehow maybe you can, because these people are skilled. They're very, very skilled. They can make things that sound they can take vagaries and make them sound very specific.
What
now,
part of that was vague?
You're telling a good story. I'll give you that. I wasn't there. You're telling a good story. And if it meant something to you, that's all that matters.
This sounds crazy. I feel like I just had a freaking spiritual breakthrough where I was like, that was the sign that it's time to forgive my dad. That was it. I already felt like I was on the brink of it yesterday. And then for all this stuff that it's really time to move on, to feel like, he accepting that we had what we had and I can just love him for who he was, even with all of his flaws and the way that, he treated me sometimes. And the worst, darkest parts of him that I haven't literally shared with anybody, that I've been struggling to forgive him for 3 years. And then yesterday, I feel like I have this deep emotional moment by myself. I come to these conclusions where I don't need to seek out negativity anymore. I feel like I'm ready to forgive my dad. And then this guy comes in talking about your Scorpio energy with your dad is really, really strong right now, and he has troubles with his lungs, and he didn't get to say things he wanted to say because we couldn't freaking go into the hospital. Nobody got to say goodbye. We couldn't go into the hospital.
Right.
I found out my dad died on a Zoom call.
I don't have an explanation
you
for
can't.
You had, well, I'm sure there is one. I just don't have it. I'm not that bright. But listen,
I
think
would love
that's...
for you to come up with an explanation for how he could nail so many. 4th of 5 kids. My dad.
The reason that those people are professional is because they're very good at figuring people out.
What?
It's called cold reading.
I did not give him anything. He didn't even ask my name. You know what I told him? I said I washed my hands. That's why I made a little joke. Haha, I washed my hands for you.
Right.
I didn't say a word to him. I didn't
understand.
offer up any information.
But the way, like, he says, I'm getting the number 4, and then he sees how you react.
A word.
But he says he sees how you react to it.
But do you understand what
but
I'm trying to tell you?
There is a skill called cold reading that they use to get this information.
Also, I can't tell you that guy's not psychic.
I can't either because it sounds amazing.
It
sounds amazing. I'm going to say I'm not trying to belittle your experience here because I just want you to have this experience. It sounds wonderful. So I'm not trying to say that, but don't try to make us believe it because we don't. But I want you to
make you believe
but
it.
I want you to understand that it is important to you. It's great. I'm glad you had this experience, but I know there's a thing called cold reading, and they're very good at it.
But pursuant to yesterday's conversation, if this puts you in a better spot mentally with respect to your dad, there's no downside, right?
It's just I'm
good.
blown away for that to have just happened.
You can be walking on sunshine after that.
I don't even know if it's walking on sunshine. I'm just like, that's, to me, when things like that happen, those are, no matter what you believe in, whether you believe in God, universe, spirit, whatever your thing is, that is so blatantly a sign. Such a strong sign that it's like, hey, these things can't just align like that.